Good morning to all. So, for value added course, we have to discuss some more topics, and I have discussed with you only the interpersonal skills and its importance. Now, I would like to give more idea on some of the topics that is there in your syllabus, and starting with active listening. I am moving to discuss something of active listening, and you may be knowing what are those facts. Anyway, I just want to add some more points on it. And let me start once again with active listening. Active listening refers to a pattern of listening that keeps you engaged with your conversation partner in a positive way. It is the process of listening attentively while someone else speaks, paraphrasing and reflecting back what is said. This is what is meant by active listening. So, active listening, in essence, it means see, while somebody else is speaking, you are listening to those somebody consciously and attentively. They are trying to justify, or they are trying to give out some communication to you, and you are listening to it. You also are engaged in listening to the conversation partner. This is what is meant by active listening. Okay, and some of the techniques of active listening. This is what I am going to discuss next. So, techniques of active listening. Number one, building trust and establishing rapport. That is one of the techniques. The second one is demonstrating concerns. It simply means you should make a feeling that you have concern upon the communication of the other. That is what is meant by demonstrating concern. Okay, you are concerned to the other one. The other one, in the sense, who are trying out their communication, who are giving out their communication. So for them, you are concerned. This is the second point. So number one, you have to build trust. If the other person is speaking to you, then if we he, as a- if you know if they need to share something to you, then you have to create a trust upon the other, so that he will be opening up himself. That is what is meant by building trust, and you have to establish a rapport, that you know it very well. And demonstrating concern, this is the next one. Then make a feeling that you are listening to them and you are understanding what is spoken by the other one. That paraphrasing, that feeling of understanding, or that you are listening, that you need to develop. That is the third one. And the next is using of your body in the sense, it's a non-verbal communication. You have to involve your non-verbal movements while listening to others, like nodding your head, your eye contact. You look into the eyes of the other person. Then a kind of swaying movement of your body, simply to show that you are listening. Involvement of body language or nonverbal cues are also useful for make others feel that you are listening, and this is a technique of active listening. Then some kind of statements, like the next one I'd like to say is that you have to make some statements like I see, I know, thank you, I understand, let me see. This kind of affirmation, that also you can have, you can use while while listening to others. Okay, these are some of the techniques for active listening. Then the components. Now, the third aspect I would like to bring to your notice is about the components of active listening. Components of active listening include comprehension, comprehend, retaining, and respond. Okay, these are the three components of active listening: comprehend, retaining, and respond. Comprehension simply mean you are trying to or you are making a feeling that you are listening to what is said by the others. That is what is comprehension. Comprehension simply mean understanding. Okay, here you are trying to understand, and at the same time you are also creating, or not creating, you are consciously and or deliberately trying to make others feel that you are listening, you are understanding what is said by the other person. That is what is meant by comprehend. Okay, the next is retention. You should keep in mind what is said by others, the ideas, the brief idea, or the gist, or the communication, or the message the other person is sending to you, that you have to retain and respond appropriately. So wherever your scope of response comes, you need to act accordingly. That is what is meant by responding. And one thing you have to keep it in mind is that don't judge unnecessarily. You shouldn't put your judgment. You shouldn't judge others unnecessarily. Listen to it, listen to the communication, and do accordingly. Your judgment, sometimes it can be partial judgment that will hurt the feelings of others and also would lose the beauty of the communication. So don't judge unnecessarily. That is what I am quoting. And these are the three components to active listening. Hope it is clear to you. And see, active listening is very important in communication. We are not living in an island. We are a social being. We have to mingle up with others. See, mingling in the sense we are different. We have different roles to play in our society. At the same time, we are playing our own part in this world. For that, active listening is very, very important. And it is very, very important in building up of strong relationship. And it is very, what could I say, it is a worthy, valuable communication skills. Active listening is one of the major valuable worthy communication skills. And see, this thing, this active listening sometimes may not come naturally to all of us, but you have to practice, you have to start developing, you have to make it as a habit, to make it there in your behavior, in your what this is very important. That is what I just want to say. So this is something about active listening. You might be knowing all these concepts. For the purpose of discussing the syllabus, I just made you to think over it, reflect over it. Okay, this is what is meant by active listening. So under active listening, we have said what is meant by active listening, the techniques of active listening, and the three components of active listening, and why it is important. It is important in the sense it is very much useful for building up relationship, okay, and also to make the communication more effective, and to be a ideal individual. It is very, very important, active listening. So once again, before stopping, I would just want to make you make it more clear that active listening is a process of deliberately, consciously listen to the other person. The other person is your conversation partner. You are listening to them. This is what is meant by active listening, and the techniques we have discussed. You just go through the techniques once again that I have discussed before, and also the three components of active listening. Hope it is clear to you. Okay, thank you.